Okay, just like previously before, I said we were going to go ahead and start doing our reviews that cover benchmark material. So it's always going to kind of look familiar. It should look familiar of how we go about solving each of these problems, because you've seen a lot of them already previously. Ian? Okay, we'll get it when we go to lunch. Okay? Actually, go ahead and grab it right now. Do that right now. All right, so for problem number 1, it says the perimeter of a triangle is 56 inches. Again, the term perimeter, we've gone over this so many times. When we talk about perimeter, what does that mean we're doing with all the sides? Adding. We're adding all the sides. Whenever we see the word perimeter, we are taking all the sides and adding them together. That's all we're going to do. We're going to add all the sides. Okay, now it's a triangle, and they're already telling us what the perimeter is. So if we add all the sides, it's going to be equal to 56. So taking each one of these sides, that's 4x. We're going to add it with the second side, which was 3x minus 8. And then we're going to add it with the third side, which was 2x plus 19. All of that added together is going to equal the perimeter which was 56. Okay, when we have that, we first combine our like terms. So we have 4x, a positive 3x, and a positive 2x. So if I do 4x plus 3x plus 2x, what does that give me? What is 4x plus 3x plus 2x? 9x. So we get 9x here. Then we also have a negative 8 and a positive 19. Negative 8 plus 19 is a positive 11. Good. We get a positive 11, and the whole thing is set equal to 56. So then we have to go ahead and solve. The first thing that we need to do is subtract the 11 from both sides. Right? We get rid of the constant. That's going to leave us with 9x is now equal to 45. Then our last step is to go ahead and divide both sides by 9. And we'll get x is equal to 5. Okay, for problem number 2. Problem number 2, the first thing that we're going to want to do is what? In order to solve, the first thing that we need to do is what, Daniel? Distribute. We need to take this 2/3 and we're going to multiply it by 12x, and we're going to multiply it by negative 21. Okay, if I do 2/3 times 12x, that's going to give me 8x. And if I do 2/3 times negative 21, that's going to give me a negative 14. And the whole thing is set equal to 18. So we have 8x minus 14 is now equal to 18. First thing that we're going to do is add 14 to both sides. That'll give us 8x is now equal to 32. And then our last step is to divide both sides by 8. And we'll get x is equal to 4. Guys, we're doing the same problems over and over and over again. Make sure that you get used to those concepts, those ideas. Problem number 3. Kim's bank account is in debt by $15. She got paid and deposited $432 into the account and then withdrew $150 to use on groceries that week. How much is in Kim's bank account now? So first, we need to figure out, what did she start off with? So what value did her bank account start off at? Negative 15, right? In debt. When you are in debt, what does that mean? You're negative, right? You owe something. So right now, her bank account fell below the 0 mark. In debt means that you owe money. When you are in debt, you owe money. So right now, her account is starting at negative 15. Okay? And like always, we set these problems up as addition problems of integers. So the next value, she got paid and deposited $432. What does deposit mean? Add it, right? It's positive, right? It's a positive value. That depositing of $432 is a positive value. Okay? And then she withdrew 150. Withdrew, is that positive or negative? Negative. Withdrew is a negative value. Okay, so we have the problem negative 15 plus 432 plus negative 150. How much is going to be in her account at the end? So if we do negative 15 plus 432 plus a negative 150, how much is in there? 267. And is that positive or negative? Positive. So she has a positive amount of $267 left in her account. Okay. A bird is flying 10 feet above a 15-foot tree, and a mouse is 2 feet below the ground. How far apart are they? So remember, when we talk about how far apart means that you are going to add the absolute values. You're going to add the absolute values when you're figuring out how far apart they are when they're on opposite ends of that number line, right? So we've got the absolute value of 10 plus the absolute value of 15 plus the absolute value of negative 2. Right? 2 feet below means it's a negative 2. Absolute value of 10 is just 10. Absolute value of 15 is 15. Absolute value of negative 2 is positive 2. And when we combine all of that together, they are 27 feet apart. They are 27 feet apart. If you need to see it as a diagram, you got your tree. The height of your tree happens to be 15 feet. Then you've got your ground level. Below the ground, that's 2 feet below the ground, is your mouse. And then up in the air above the tree, 10 feet above the tree, is the bird. So then if we want to know, hey, how far does it take the mouse to get up to the bird? Well, the mouse has to climb up 2 feet, then it climbs up another 15 feet, then it climbs up another 10 feet. So it's just continuously climbing upward to get to where the bird is. That's why it's the absolute values. You're adding those absolute values. Think of it as a picture if that helps you. All right, number 5. We're going to solve. We've got negative 5x minus 14 is greater than negative 24. Okay, first thing I need to ask myself, is my variable on the correct side? Yes or no? Do we like it to say x equals or equals x? X equals. So is x on the correct side? Yeah. We want x on the left side of our signs. We want x on the left side. So yes, it is on the correct side. Okay, now I need to figure out my first operation. What is the first inverse operation that we need to perform here? Addition. Right? We're going to add 14 to both sides. Okay, that negative 5x comes straight down, greater than, and the negative 24 plus 14, that's going to come out to a negative 10. Okay, remember addition and subtraction has no effect on your inequality, but multiplication or division does. Okay, I'm going to divide both sides by a negative 5. I'm going to divide by a negative. So when I divide by a negative, am I going to keep the inequality or flip the inequality? Yeah. Flip. When you divide by a negative, you flip. When you multiply by a negative, you flip. If you multiply or divide by a positive, you keep. Okay, the negative has an impact. Think about it. When somebody says something really negative to you, it kind of has an impact on you, doesn't it? Might change your day a little bit. Okay, if somebody tells you you look like a giant turd, it might make you go, well, maybe this outfit's not that great. Or maybe I might need to brush my hair a little bit more. When somebody says something negative, it has an impact on you. Whether you think it does or not, it does. Negative comments can have an impact on you. It kind of flips your perspective a little bit. So, same thing here. If we're multiplying or dividing by a negative, it has an impact. It impacts the sign. You have to flip the sign. So the sign becomes a less than symbol. And now we get x is less than a positive 2. Okay, if I were to graph it, when I graph it, I've got negative 2, 0 in the center, positive 2 off to the right. Which one of the numbers am I starting off at? Where am I going to start? Am I going to start at negative 2, 0, or positive 2? Positive 2. Is it going to be an open or closed circle? Open circle. Right? Open circle at positive 2. And is it going to go to the left or go to the right? This is the left. This is the right. Is it going to go towards the left or go towards the right? The arrow is pointing. Where's the point facing? The point's facing to the left. So you're drawing to the left. So from the 0 or from the open circle, we're going to graph it to the left. Okay? That's what the graph would look like. X is less than 2. Okay? Now, the week before we went on break, we started our new unit on ratios and proportions. Let's take a look here. Just as a reminder, is when we set up a rate, we set it up as a unit of measure over another unit of measure. We're comparing two different kinds of units together. So here it says an artist completed 1/4 of a painting in 2 weeks. We want to know what is the rate of completion per week. Completion per week. So we're setting it up as the amount of completion that occurred over the amount of weeks that occurred. So how much did the artist complete? 1/4, right? The artist completed 1/4 of their painting. So 1/4 is going to go on top. On the bottom, how many weeks did it take? 2 weeks. It took 2 weeks to complete it. So we've got 1/4 over 2. Now we want it to be a unit rate. We want it per 1 week. So that means we're going to divide both the numerator and the denominator by the value 2. We're going to divide them both by the value 2. So if we do 2 divided by 2, that's going to come out to a 1. And if we do 1/4 divided by 2, then that comes out to 1/8. So it is 1/8 completed per week. 1/8 completed per week. Okay, let's take a look at number 2. Camila filled a 4-gallon bucket in 1/6 of a minute. So this is how much she filled, right? This is the amount filled in the bucket. This is the amount of time. So we want the speed that the bucket was filled. Now speed is a rate per time. You need to write that down. Speed. Speed is a rate per time. Time is always going to go on the bottom. Time is always going to go on the bottom. Okay? So how much the bucket filled up is going to go on the top. So we were able, or Camilla was able to fill up 4-gallon bucket. She filled a 4-gallon bucket, so I'm going to put 4 gallons, in 1/6 of a minute. 4 gallons in 1/6 of a minute. Now we want to know what was the rate. So that's the rate per minute. That means you are going to divide both the top and the bottom by what value? by 1/6. That's it. You want to get it per 1 minute. So you're going to divide both the top and the bottom by 1/6. So that means in 1 minute, it's going to be 24 gallons. 24 gallons per minute. All right, let's go ahead and finish this up. For number 3, Publix fruit basket has 4 oranges and 8 apples. Kroger's fruit basket has 3 oranges and 6 apples. We want to compare the fruit baskets and identify if these are equivalent ratios, if they are going to be equivalent. So if they are equivalent, then that means when they are fully simplified, they simplify to the exact same thing if they are equivalent. So we're going to set it up as 2 different ratios. So we're going to start with the Publix fruit basket. Publix fruit basket has 4 oranges to 8 apples. So we're going to identify the ratio for, or the ratio for Publix for their fruit. We're going to put 4 oranges on the top. We're going to put the 8 apples on the bottom. And then we want to go ahead and simplify it. We're going to simplify it. They both happen to be divisible by 4. So when we simplify it and divide them both by 4, that's going to come out to 1 orange for every 2 apples. Then we want to do the exact same thing for Kroger's. We want to do the exact same thing for Kroger's. For Kroger's fruit basket, they have 3 oranges and 6 apples. So we're going to set up the same exact kind of ratio for Kroger's. We're going to set it up as 3 oranges over 6 apples. And what are they both divisible by? 3 and 6. What are they both divisible by? 3. Right? They both can be divided by 3. Vincent, don't you think you should be copying this down? They both can be divided by 3. So that comes out to 1 orange to 2 apples. 1 orange to 2 apples. Okay? So are these equivalent ratios? Yes. Okay? Equivalent meaning that they are the same. Okay, the amount of oranges compared to apples is the same whether you're at Publix or at Kroger's. Let's do the same thing for problem number 4. I want you guys to do number 4 on your own. Alright, let's go ahead and go over this one. Let's start off with Josh. Josh's pencil pouch has 12 pencils and 15 markers in it. So we're going to start off talking about Josh. He's got the 12 pencils and the 15 markers. What do 12 pencils and 15 markers simplify down to?
Wait. I'm not like, oh, I thought you were
Well, one of them can be divided by 2 and one of them can be divided by 5, but they both can't. Okay, so you remember when you simplify them by the same value. So what would that become, Jeremy? 3. They're both simplified by 3. You can divide them both by 3. You have to pick a value that they both can be simplified by. So when we do that, it comes out to 4 pencils and 5 markers. I'm sorry, 5 markers. 4 pencils, 5 markers. Okay, then we're going to do this for Kyle's. Kyle's pencil pouch has 10 pencils, 12 markers. Okay, so 10 pencils, 12 markers. What can we simplify them by? What can we simplify them both by? 2. Okay, they're both divisible by 2. They're both even. Okay, that comes out to 5 pencils and 6 markers. And that's as simplified as they both are going to get. Are they equivalent? Are they the same?
No.
No. So these are not equivalent. These are not going to be equivalent. Okay, 4 over 5 and 5 over 6 are not the same. They have to be equal. Okay, problem number 5, it's just a reminder of unit rates. Remember when we talk about a unit price is always going to be what on top? What always goes on top? Money or item? Money. Money always goes on top. So Tommy can buy a 28-ounce box of cereal for $4.99. So we're going to start comparing this one. 28 ounces for $4.99. That means we're going to take $4.99 and we are going to divide it by 28. $4.99, we're going to divide it by the 28 to figure out how much it is per ounce. So in your calculator, you should be typing in 4.99 and divide it by 28. And it's going to come out to 0.1782, and it just keeps going. Now remember, money is just right here, 0.17. This 8 is going to tell us to either keep it at 17 cents or round it to 18 cents. Are we going to keep or round up? Round up. We got to round it up. Okay, so this is going to come out to 18 cents per ounce. This is 18 cents per ounce. Okay, then we're going to do the same thing for the 36-ounce box for $5.83. So we're going to take $5.83 and we're going to divide it by 36. $5.83 divided by 36. And that's going to come out, that's going to come out to 0.1619, and the 4 repeats. Again, the 0.16, that's the money. We look at the number directly behind it. Are we going to keep it or round it up? Keep it. Right? We're going to keep it. So that comes out to 16 cents per ounce. So which one is the better deal? 16 cents. Okay? This one is the better deal. Remember, better deals are the ones that come out cheaper. Okay, what you're going to be doing, you've got all the rest of class time right now to be able to go on to Google Classroom and work on your 4 IXL skills. What's the SMART score that you need? 70. Or if you want extra credit, you can go up to a what? An 80. You can go up to an 80 for extra credit. If you have forgotten your IXL passwords and or username, there is an attachment on there on Google Classroom that is all IXL usernames and passwords. You can find yours.